Have you ever felt like your mind is overloaded, full of ideas, but lacking the clarity to organize them? Or that something is missing to truly unlock your creativity and learning? Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge and inspiration, is the key to bringing harmony into your mind. She doesn't just offer wisdom, she turns chaos into order, allowing your creative energy to flow freely. Discover how her blessing can change your life and guide you toward a powerful awakening. A new year always sparks the urge for change, like the universe hitting the reset button. But how many of those resolutions actually come to life? Most fail because they rely only on effort, without true inspiration. Real transformation doesn't come from exhaustion. It comes from a state of flow, that moment when everything just clicks effortlessly. Picture an artist so lost in their painting that they forget time exists. That deep immersion, not constant struggle, is what creates lasting change. The secret to accessing this flow lies in connecting with your creativity and intuition. Instead of forcing yourself into a rigid plan, explore what truly inspires you. If you want to learn something new, find a way that resonates with you, maybe through music, writing, or even silent contemplation. When learning becomes a joyful experience, growth happens naturally. The same goes for any transformation. The more aligned it is with your essence, the more effortless it will be. The problem is that many people mistake effort for evolution. Pushing yourself to act without enjoyment is like rowing against the current, exhausting and ineffective. True renewal happens when you align desire with action, allowing your energy to flow without resistance. History's greatest innovators show this clearly. They didn't force themselves to create. They found inspiration in what fascinated them. And this is where Saraswati comes in, the embodiment of creative flow. But who exactly is this goddess, and how can her energy transform your life? Saraswati is not just a goddess, she is the very essence of intellectual and creative flow. Her presence can be felt wherever inspiration exists, in the melody of a song, the effortless rhythm of written words, or even the spark in someone's eyes when they're fully immersed in an idea. She represents those moments when everything connects, when creativity flows effortlessly, and the mind operates in perfect clarity. And this state of being isn't just for artists or intellectuals. It's available to anyone who learns how to tune into her energy. The energy of Saraswati can be felt in everyday moments. Have you ever noticed how some people have a sharp mind and a way of speaking that draws you in? Or how certain musicians and writers create works that touch the soul? That's because, whether they realize it or not, they are in harmony with this flow. The words of an inspiring teacher, the wise advice of a friend, or even the spontaneous laughter of a child all carry this energy. It manifests whenever there is authentic expression and a natural flow in communication. But this connection doesn't just happen by chance. You have to create space for Saraswati to be present. Practices like meditation, chanting mantras, or simply allowing moments of silence help clear the mind of noise and open the path for creativity to flow. The difference between someone who struggles for good ideas and someone who receives them effortlessly lies in their ability to surrender to this state of flow. And when that happens, life takes on a whole new rhythm. But where does this power come from? How did Saraswati become the embodiment of creativity and knowledge? According to Hindu mythology, Brahma, the creator of the universe, saw that his creation was chaotic and lacked harmony. That's when Saraswati emerged, not just as a goddess, but as the very principle of order and beauty. When she played her veena, the first sound echoed through the cosmos, bringing rhythm and balance to everything that existed. Her music wasn't just a sound. It was a force that aligned the elements of the universe, giving them purpose and direction. Without her, creation would have remained a collection of disconnected forms. This creative role of Saraswati isn't just a myth, it reflects everything around us. Just as the sound of the veena brought structure to the universe, creativity brings order to the chaos in our lives. A writer turns scattered thoughts into words that inspire, An architect organizes space and materials to create something functional and beautiful, and even a well-led conversation can bring clarity where there was once confusion. Saraswati's energy is present whenever something disorganized finds harmony through creative expression. But for this force to manifest, we must listen to the flow of creation instead of trying to control it rigidly. Saraswati didn't force order onto the universe. She brought it with grace, allowing everything to find its place naturally. The same happens with our own creativity. When we push too hard, we block the process. The key is to cultivate a state of receptivity, to learn to listen, observe, and allow ideas to arrange themselves. And that's why, in sacred texts, Saraswati is praised as more than just a goddess. She is the very essence of wisdom and knowledge. But how is this reverence expressed in the Vedic texts? Saraswati's creative role isn't just a myth, it's reflected in everything around us. Just as the sound of her veena brought structure to the universe, creativity brings order to the chaos in our lives. A writer transforms scattered thoughts into words that inspire. An architect organizes space and materials to create something both functional and beautiful, and even a well-led conversation can bring clarity where there was once confusion. Saraswati's energy is present whenever something disorganized finds harmony through creative expression. But for this force to manifest, we must listen to the flow of creation instead of trying to control it rigidly. Saraswati didn't impose order on the universe. She brought it gently, allowing everything to find its place naturally. The same applies to our own creativity. When we pressure ourselves too much, we block the process. The key is to cultivate a state of receptivity, to learn to listen, observe, and let ideas organize themselves. And that's why, in sacred texts, Saraswati is revered as more than just a goddess. She is the very essence of wisdom and knowledge. But how is this reverence expressed in the Vedic texts? In the Vedas, the oldest scriptures of the Hindu tradition, Saraswati is exalted as the embodiment of wisdom and purity. In the Rig Veda, she is not just a goddess, but a vital force that nourishes both the mind and soul. She is called the best of mothers, rivers, and goddesses, symbolizing how her presence flows like a river, bringing knowledge and clarity to those who seek the truth. Just as water cleanses and purifies, Saraswati's energy dissolves ignorance and brings enlightenment to those who connect with her. Her role in the Vedas goes beyond intellect. She represents the voice of divine inspiration. Just as a river carves its own path through the rocks, Saraswati guides seekers through the challenges of learning and spiritual evolution. In ancient Vedic rituals, invoking Saraswati was essential to ensure that knowledge was transmitted with precision and purity. It's not just about gathering information. It's about having the wisdom to apply it correctly. And that is one of the greatest gifts her energy provides. Over the centuries, her presence has continued to be revered as the essence of learning and creativity. Great sages and poets credited their inspiration to Saraswati's grace, recognizing that true knowledge doesn't come solely from human effort, but from attuning to this higher intelligence. Her name is a reminder that knowledge must be fluid, adaptable, and nourishing to the soul. That's why, in the great Hindu epics, her presence is linked to the awakening of consciousness and spiritual renewal. But how does this connection manifest in the Mahabharata tradition? In the Mahabharata, Saraswati is not just a distant goddess, but a living force that guides those seeking clarity and spiritual renewal. Her presence is deeply connected to sages and rituals that purify the mind and elevate consciousness. One of the most powerful rituals, the Rajasuya Yagna, was performed by kings to reaffirm their authority and wisdom, and Saraswati was invoked to ensure that power was used with discernment. After all, knowledge without clarity can become destructive, and it is precisely this balance between intellect and spirituality that she represents. Her influence is also felt by those searching for inner truth. The human mind is often like a restless river, full of disconnected thoughts that pull us away from peace. Saraswati symbolizes the moment when that river finds direction, allowing inner wisdom to blossom. In ancient times, sages would meditate by the riverside to absorb this energy of flow and enlightenment. This practice is still relevant today. Simply sitting near flowing water in silence can help clear the mind and restore focus. But Saraswati is not just the goddess of knowledge. She is the force that turns seeking into realization. Many embark on spiritual journeys, but few integrate them into daily life. Her teaching is not about accumulating information, but about transforming wisdom into lived experience. And this very transformation can be seen in the story of Valmiki, a man who went from being a bandit to one of India's greatest sages, all thanks to the blessing of this goddess. But how did Saraswati inspire such a radical change? The story of Valmiki is a living example of Saraswati's transformative power. Before becoming one of India's greatest sages, he was a bandit who survived by stealing and violence. However, his life took a drastic turn when he met a wise man who asked him a simple question: "For whom are you accumulating these sins?" This question made him reflect deeply, and in his search for redemption, he immersed himself in deep meditation. That's when Saraswati blessed him, allowing his mind to be filled with a new flow of knowledge and inspiration. From that moment on, Valmiki became the author of the Ramayana, one of the most important epics in Indian culture. Saraswati's energy flowed through him, transforming a lost man into an enlightened poet. This phenomenon is not unique to Valmiki. Many writers, musicians, and philosophers have described moments when inspiration simply arrives, as if from a higher realm. This is the touch of Saraswati, the goddess who not only grants knowledge, but also teaches how to use it to create something extraordinary. This inspiration isn't limited to great literary works. It can manifest in anyone who is open to the flow of knowledge. When you feel creatively blocked or lost in direction, connecting with Saraswati's energy can unlock clarity. A simple way to do this is by chanting the mantra, Om Aim Saraswati Nama, traditionally used to awaken creativity and learning. And the same inspiring force that guided Valmiki also influenced the greatest figures in the Mahabharata, shaping the destiny of heroes and sages. But how did Saraswati play a role in one of humanity's most influential epics? In the Mahabharata, Saraswati's presence isn't just symbolic. Her wisdom directly influenced the fates of the most important characters in the story. Krishna, whose intelligence and strategic vision shaped the course of the war, is often associated with the clarity and discernment that Saraswati represents. His eloquence in the Bhagavad Gita didn't come only from his personal greatness, but from the wisdom that flows through those who are in tune with divine knowledge. His guidance to the Pandavas ensured that the Battle of Kurukshetra was not just a fight for territory, but a spiritual awakening. Beyond Krishna, Saraswati also manifested through great warriors and thinkers. Vyasa, the author of the Mahabharata itself, is said to have been inspired by her energy to compile this vast and complex narrative. Without her influence, perhaps the deep teachings of the Gita and the lessons of Dharma would never have been recorded. Saraswati doesn't just bring knowledge, she ensures that it is transmitted correctly, preserving the essence of truth for future generations. Her presence in the story is also a reminder that wisdom and power must go hand in hand. Many Mahabharata characters possessed great strength, but it was intellectual clarity that defined their fate. While Duryodhana relied solely on his physical might, Krishna and the Pandavas understood that true power came from balancing action with understanding. Saraswati does not favor those who simply seek knowledge. She guides those who know how to use it with discernment. But her influence wasn't limited to the Mahabharata. Her lessons echo through various spiritual traditions beyond Hinduism. How does this energy manifest in Buddhism and Jainism? In Hindu mythology, Saraswati is depicted not just as the goddess of wisdom, but as the very essence of creative expression. Her influence can be seen in stories that highlight the impact of knowledge on those who invoke her. A striking example is that of Ravana, the powerful king of Lanka. Though he was a great scholar and devotee, his arrogance led to his downfall. Saraswati does not grant wisdom to those who seek it only for ambition. Her gift is for those who understand the true purpose of knowledge. Another character influenced by Saraswati was Karna, the great warrior of the Mahabharata. Known for his unwavering loyalty, Karna sought knowledge from Parashurama, a master of martial arts. However, he lied about his origins to be accepted as a disciple. Saraswati, representing discernment, ensured that the truth was revealed at the right moment. This teaches us that knowledge gained without honesty can never be fully utilized, a powerful reminder for those who seek spiritual growth without integrity. These stories show that Saraswati is not just a giver of intellect, but a guardian of truth. Her presence ensures that wisdom is used to enlighten, not to feed the ego. She flows through those who honor knowledge with humility, allowing their expression to be genuine and transformative. But her influence is not limited to Hinduism. Her qualities are also revered in other traditions, such as Buddhism and Jainism. How does Saraswati manifest in these spiritual traditions? Saraswati's influence extends beyond Hinduism, as she is revered in Buddhism and Jainism as the embodiment of wisdom, music, and eloquence. In Mahayana Buddhism, she is seen as a protector of knowledge and meditation, helping monks and spiritual seekers transcend ignorance. Her name is often linked to Manjushri, the bodhisattva of wisdom, signifying that her presence is essential for those on the path to enlightenment. Her role goes beyond intellectuality. She represents the mental clarity needed to understand the true nature of existence. In Jainism, Saraswati also holds a special position as the guardian of learning. She is often depicted holding sacred scriptures, serving as a reminder that spiritual evolution depends on the correct assimilation of knowledge. Just as in Hinduism, her energy is not granted to just anyone. Only those who seek truth with sincerity are blessed with her clarity. This idea strongly resonates with Jainists, who emphasize deep study and discipline as the means to achieve liberation. Her presence across multiple traditions demonstrates that knowledge is a universal bridge between cultures and beliefs. Wherever there is a pursuit of truth, Saraswati is present. Whether through Buddhist meditation or Jainist discipline study, her essence guides those who wish to understand life on a deeper level. But within Hindu tradition, her manifestation is not always the same. Sometimes she represents conventional wisdom, while in other forms, she embodies creative rebellion. How does Saraswati take on these contrasting roles, and what is the deeper meaning behind these variations? Saraswati is widely known as the goddess of traditional knowledge and structured wisdom, but she also has lesser-known aspects. As Matangi, one of her tantric forms, she represents unconventional wisdom and marginalized creativity, the kind that challenges norms and breaks patterns. This aspect of Saraswati is revered by artists, musicians, and writers who find inspiration outside conventional paths. Matangi shows that true knowledge isn't confined to academies or sacred scriptures. It can arise from the unexpected, from chaos, and from bold creative expression. Another powerful form is Nila Saraswati, who embodies the mind's transformative potential. Unlike the serene and peaceful image of traditional Saraswati, Nila Saraswati is depicted with fierce intensity, symbolizing the raw energy of knowledge in its purest form. This aspect highlights that wisdom isn't always a calm journey. Sometimes it requires breaking old structures, questioning beliefs, and challenging internal limitations. This is the Saraswati of visionaries, those who dare to think differently and reshape the world around them. These variations of the goddess teach us that wisdom can manifest in many forms. Some people find clarity through study and discipline, while others access knowledge through direct experience and intuition. In all her forms, Saraswati reminds us that true learning goes beyond memorization. It requires curiosity, experimentation, and the courage to explore the unknown. And it's precisely this diversity of meanings that makes her symbols so profound. But what does each of them truly represent? Each element associated with Saraswati carries a deeper meaning beyond aesthetics. Her veena, the musical instrument she holds, is not just a symbol of art, but of cosmic harmony. The sound it produces represents the flow of creation, showing that life is not an isolated event, but an ongoing melody that needs to be in tune. Just as a musician must tune their instrument, we must also adjust our thoughts and intentions to live in harmony with the universe. The white lotus on which Saraswati sits symbolizes purity of thought and wisdom. Just like this flower rises from the mud, yet remains untouched, true knowledge emerges even amidst the chaos of the material world. This teaches us that mental clarity does not depend on external circumstances, but on our ability to stay centered. The swan, often seen beside the goddess, represents discernment. It is believed to have the ability to separate milk from water, reminding us to distinguish between true knowledge and fleeting illusions. Another powerful symbol is the peacock, representing the relationship between wisdom and passion. While knowledge brings clarity, intense emotions can cloud judgment, and the peacock illustrates this duality. Saraswati teaches that true intelligence is not cold and detached, but balanced, integrating reason and emotion. And it is precisely this awareness that allows us to use knowledge ethically and responsibly. But what impact does this balance have on the way we apply wisdom in our lives? Knowledge, when misused, can become a weapon instead of a blessing. Saraswati is not just the goddess of wisdom, she also represents the responsibility that comes with it. History is full of examples of brilliant minds who used their intelligence to manipulate, deceive, or even destroy. Having knowledge without humility is like wielding a sword without control. It can cut both the wielder and those around them. True wisdom requires a balance between learning and ethics, between what we know and how we apply that knowledge. This balance is also reflected in how we use our intellect in everyday life. Someone may study a subject deeply, but if they don't know how to listen and respect other perspectives, their knowledge becomes a tool of arrogance rather than growth. Saraswati reminds us that learning isn't just about accumulating information, it's about developing discernment. If a teacher shares their knowledge generously and inspires others, they are in tune with Saraswati. But if they use their expertise to belittle others, they have lost the true purpose of wisdom. Saraswati's role, therefore, goes beyond creativity and learning. She is the guardian of wisdom applied with integrity. Her teaching is simple, yet profound. Knowledge is not power unless it is used with awareness. When we align intellect with ethics, we tap into the true flow of life. And for those seeking this connection, her energy remains available, waiting only for us to open ourselves to it. Knowledge without clarity can be a burden, but when aligned with Saraswati's wisdom, it becomes a transformative force. Now that you understand her role in creativity, learning, and balance, how can you apply this energy in your own life? Are you ready to leave mental chaos behind and step into the true flow of wisdom? Start your journey now. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and keep exploring teachings that can transform your reality.